Minnesota Vikings do need to find themselves their quarterback of the future, and all options should be on the table. Now, if the Vikings continue to be just a big, hairy American winning machine, every morning we wake up and piss excellence, then it is what it is. Vikings are going to go on a run, make the playoffs, and then whatever happens, happens. Get in the dance. You can make a little love, get down in that, right? So the Vikings will likely be out of range of the top quarterbacks. Sorry. So Lawrence, Fields, hell, Fields may go ahead of Lawrence at this rate. We'll see. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, etc. Now, of course, you could always trade up, despite what the tank people say. It's something that happens. It's so weird. Like teams trade up for Deshaun, teams traded up for Mahomes, teams traded back into the first round for Lamar. It happens, right? So say the Vikings end up with, well, I was going to say 32 overall, but let's say 25, just for illustration's sake. So trade up, sure. Without a second round pick, a little bit tougher. But would you be willing to settle for a Mac Jones or a Kyle Trask or a Jamie Newman, etc.? Or do the Vikings feel that with Danielle Hunter back, fully healthy, ready to go, Michael Pierce back, pissed off for greatness, and they feel like they're ready to rock and roll with this nucleus? They feel like they're just that close to a true Super Bowl run. And if they come back and do make the playoffs and make some noise, I mean, they are. They absolutely are. So why not make a move, cut Kirk Cousins, and then trade for one of the best young quarterbacks in the game in Deshaun friggin' Watson? And now I can hear it. What about the contract? We'll get to that. We'll get to it. Let's talk about it. So here's the roadmap to acquiring Deshaun Watson. So cut Kirk Cousins as opposed to June 1st cut. It's fine. So $31 million dead in 2021, $10 million dead in 2022 as opposed to taking all 41 next year. And then trade 2021 first round pick, number 25 overall in this scenario. 2021 third round pick, 2022 first round pick to Deshaun, to Houston for Deshaun. Or we could just trade Deshaun the picks. I'm sure he'd do better with them than the Texans would, even though Bill O'Brien's gone. And you know that Deshaun Watson would waive his no trade clause because he's been having some issues with what's been going on in Houston. But yeah, we'll get there. And yeah, first thing is, what about the money? What about the money? And to that, I only have this to say. So Kirk is cut, $31 million dead. Would have been the same if he stayed. But then also, if Kirk Cousins stays in 2022, his cap number is $45 million, which is less than ideal. Watson, he signed his 4-year, $156 million contract in this offseason, second largest of all time behind only Mahomes. But also, his base salary for next year is only his 5th-year option money. So if the Vikings did trade for Deshaun Watson, only $10.54 million against the Vikings 2021 cap because his signing bonus of $20 million and change stays with the Texans since it's already been paid out, so they have to eat that. Vikings can free up $10 million and change no problem by cutting Barr, restructuring Reef, cutting Rudy. It can be done, etc. And also, like we said, the 2022 cap hit would be identical because it would be $35 million for Deshaun. That's his 2022 base salary. It's fully guaranteed. It's whatever. But also, it's crazy to think that Deshaun Watson and Kirk Cousins would have the same guaranteed base salary in 2022 if Kirk is on the Vikings. So it's whatever. But his cap hit would be $45 million bucks, and then he's still have 10 dead from Kirk Cousins. So whatever. No, the question is, why would Houston do this? Houston, they have a problem, and they absolutely do have a problem. So think about it. New GM coming in, he may want his own quarterback. Like he may want a big, strong arm, stand in the pocket type quarterback, as opposed to Deshaun, who is a winner. He's a baller. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. A great team leader, throws with anticipation, all the things that you would want, as well as just turned 25 years young. But maybe the GM comes in, I don't like Deshaun. I'm going to get rid of J.J. Watt. I'm going to punt on Deshaun. I'm going to completely start over. Bill O'Brien hasn't left me a lot to work with because I want all the cap space back because I don't want to be saddled with that big contract. And even though his deal is guaranteed, Houston can get out of it with only $21.6 million dead in that prorated signing bonus since another team is taking on that contract. And then potentially getting his picks back. So like we said, Houston is without a first and second round pick in 2021 because of the Laramie Tunsil trade, so they can start relatively fresh. And, you know, we just threw out 2 firsts and a third as a starting point. Maybe it's a little bit more than that. Frankly, I would be fine with that. Is it a first and a third and then a future first and a future third? Okay. You son of a bitch, I'm in. And Deshaun, like we said, is one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. He is the kind of guy that you're hoping that your draft pick develops into. And I get it. The money. But also, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, that contract looks pretty damn good, especially with the cap rebounding eventually, in all likelihood. Hopefully, right? So it's like the 10-year Mahomes deal. 5, 7 years down the road, obviously there's probably going to be some restructures and redos, but it's pretty good. It does look pretty good. And with Deshaun, he's been to the playoffs twice. Last year had 3,852 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 98 quarterback rating. A little bit better this year as well. He's a young leader, high character, face of the franchise type guy, but also Houston hasn't treated him well, besides the giant contract. Now, that was pretty nice, but they gave away Nuke for nothing for a running back who, okay, with a big contract, and also, that offensive line, despite them sinking big draft capital and free agent money into it, is bad. It's absolutely terrible. Tunsil is the only one who's not terrible, and there's a reason why Deshaun has continually been in the top 3 in terms of pressure rates as a quarterback, including leading the league in sacks and pressures in 2018. He deserves better. Damn it. So come here. And like I said, Houston has no first or second round picks next year. So, and also he's going to have a new GM. He's going to have a new head coach. It's bleak. Future is a little bleak in Houston, even though he has meant a lot to that community. You can understand why Deshaun would potentially want out, because Houston's not going to be good or relevant for years. It could be 2, 3, 4 years until they're done. And by then, Deshaun will be in his late 20s, and also that contract will almost be up. So is he willing to wait, or does he see a team like the Vikings who you know what? They got hot. They got Dalvin. They got Jefferson. They got Thielen. Offensive line is improving. That defense, they can certainly get after it. They're young. They're flying around. They're starting to make some plays. I will waive my no trade clause, and Houston, get back your picks so I don't feel as guilty, and Deshaun Watson, welcome to Minnesota. And also, you saw how even though the chips were down, even though Texans were terrible, Deshaun led them to nearly a come-from-behind win against the Vikings week 4 when he put up 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. And also, never sleep on, hey, this guy played well against us type scouting, right? But like we said, if the Vikings are shut out at the top of the draft and they've already cut Kirk Cousins because they're already all in on the future, just taking a look, make the move. Make the move. It makes too much sense. The stars are aligning, and then the Vikings don't have to wait on a rookie quarterback. You can still draft a quarterback later on, by the way. Like, you can still get Desmond Ridder in the late rounds. Maybe you take a shot on De'Ara King. Maybe you take, Kellen Mond in the mid rounds. Sure, do that. I mean, Deshaun in the building should not preclude you from that, even though you gave up a first and a third. Go after it. Quarterback is that important, right? But move. Make it happen, because this team, Super Bowl window, everyone thought it was closed, and then everyone's like, oh, it's open. It's still wide open. Deshaun Watson, get in that window and let's go, baby. Let's go. Woo! All right, but your thoughts. Trading for Deshaun Watson? I'm fired up. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.